Kirk Hammett was a huge part of my guitar learning life. Years and years ago, when I was starting out in particular, I would not be the guitar player that I am today without listening to Kirk Hammett. I'm going to be completely honest about this, and I'm probably going to get some stick for this. Whether you agree or not, I don't know. Let me know if you do agree below or not. I don't think personally that Kirk Hammett is the guitar player that he used to be. Like 1980s Kirk Hammett to me was like perfection. Particularly kind of like for the first 5 years of my guitar life. I feel like his technique changed over the years. Just kind of not to my liking, but still a great player. And whilst I don't listen to kind of like modern day Metallica stuff, I would not be the guitar player that I am today without early 80s and even 90s Metallica stuff, and without Kirk Hammett. So a huge inspiration of mine from my earlier learning days. Now this lesson is a small 3-parter, and it's to teach you, it's basically a guitar lesson on the best, not the only, but the best things that I personally took away, the best things that I learned from Kirk Hammett, basically. So kind of learning a lot of Metallica stuff back in the day. So I'll dive straight in with the first one. And the first one came to me probably about, I'd say, a year into learning the guitar, which was, I used to love, I still do love, watching full live gigs of bands, and I used to constantly watch Metallica live gigs, particularly Rock AM Ring, it was this one. And I noticed that Kirk Hammett did a lot of this sort of thing. Now, the thing that caught my interest there, he was doing it on a lot of songs that I knew did not consist of this first fret being played. So I thought, why is he playing the first fret there? And I realised he wasn't palm muting either, so why is he getting a muted sound? And I realised that you can get it's kind of, I don't use this technique much nowadays, but it definitely helped for me developing the sound of muting in general. Definitely helps with kind of really tight parts where you want to go between muting and unmuting. I realised that you can actually get a muted open note by actually laying your first finger down across the first fret from watching him. So you basically put your first finger on the first fret, but pull it back a little bit further than what you think, so quite close to the nut of the guitar, and you'll get the same sound out of that as you will from this demonstration. You have to make sure that you aren't pushing down on the first fret when you're doing it though. So yeah, I learned from watching him that you can get a muted open sound by doing that. Like I say, I don't use it much, but it has come in handy in the past for certain things, particularly like choppy rhythms that utilise the open note. The second thing that I learned from studying Kirk Hammett is digging hard with your kind of like, particularly bends actually within solos. So aggression, basically. So a bit of a demonstration. I'm going to kind of do like this this kind of bend thing that he does quite a lot. I'm going to dig in hard the first time, and then I'm going to do it kind of like not digging in hard the second time, just so you can hear the sound difference. And then not digging in so hard. So you can kind of get a lot of aggression out of those bends by really whacking the strings. However, you've got to make sure that you don't catch all these open strings. So what you kind of want to do is be bending, but muting those at the same time with the left hand technique. So left hand muting, digging in hard, something that I learned from Kirk Hammett. And then the third thing that I learned is, I suppose I could apply this to a lot of kind of metal guitar players. I'm going to say shredders, like Kirk Hammett. It depends, but for me, at the stage in my life when I was kind of into Metallica, that's what got me started shredding. So learning Metallica stuff really taught me how important it is to slow things down when you're learning them, particularly for alternate picking. So if you want to strengthen your alternate picking, kind of do some of like the Kirk Hammett lead lines, hear that pattern and slow it down. So if it goes ba 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 ba, try and slow that down in your head, ba 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 ba, and pick each note individually. Don't try just coming straight out ba 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 ba, unless you can already do that. But at the point in my life where I was studying Kirk Hammett, I realised how important it actually was to be able to slow things down in your head, particularly for alternate picking. So let's say, for instance, he did like a lead line like this. Now he didn't, but let's say he did. And it was much faster. What I would do is I would kind of take that and slow it down to that so that I could get the alternate picking of that. So that I could kind of build up towards getting the speed. So a lot of kind of like Kirk Hammett stuff, I learned how important to get that alternate picking really tight was to slow it down. So slowing down was also something that I learned from studying Kirk Hammett a lot. So the three things are the kind of how you can get an open mute by just laying your finger across the first fret. Aggression, so digging in hard on certain things to get aggression out. And then the third one was slowing down for alternate picking. Hope that's helped you. Let me know what the best thing that you feel you learn from learning either Metallica songs or learning certain Kirk Hammett lead lines or even rhythm lines were in the comments below. I'd love to hear what you think. This lesson was quite hard to do because I feel it's, for me personally, because I was into like the whole of Metallica in like the 80s era stuff, I feel it's very hard to cover Kirk Hammett alone in a lesson without kind of trying to break into James Hetfield's technique, because I feel they're kind of almost one. James Hetfield, in my opinion, one of the tightest rhythm guitar players in the world, but I feel like Kirk's lead technique kind of blends in very nicely with James Hetfield's rhythm as well. I hope that's been helpful to you, and I'll catch you soon in another lesson or another video or something.